the Faith and Focus podcast. I'm Laura, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This episode isn't about a specification, it's not about a key belief, it's not about anything specific, it's just about reintroducing myself and starting again. If anybody listens to the podcast fairly regularly, you'll recognise that it's been a while since I posted an episode. I did an update in July, and then, to be fair, life just got busy. So there's no dramatic reason why I stopped. There's no big reason, no announcement, no sudden change of direction. But my life shifted, and it shifted in quite a dramatic way. So work became heavier. I needed to protect my energy a bit more. And whilst I do care deeply about this podcast and the people that are listening to it, it does mean that I needed to pause it rather than force it, because it just didn't feel right when I forced it. So I want to make it clear to everybody right at the beginning that it wasn't a failure to get started again. It was a pause. And often, I think when we stop something, we feel like we've got to have an explanation for that, and that there's got to be a justifiable reason why things have stopped or whatever. And really, if you need to slow down or you need to pause, then that's not actually something you need to justify. And that needs to be quite clear. And the truth is that there are parts of your life, there are seasons in your life when you cannot continue at the same pace. If you do that, it would cost you more. So it might cost you money, it might cost you time, it might cost you your mental health or your physical health, it might cost you relationships. Whichever way it would affect you, the cost is sometimes too great, and it depends on you as a person as to what that cost is and where your line is. And this podcast, this Faith and Focus podcast, to me has always been about thoughtfulness, it's been about depth, it's about reflecting on things, it's about caring about things. And whilst I would have loved to have come back in September, all guns blazing, that just wasn't what happened. And I realised that trying to keep producing content, trying to keep visible, trying to stay consistent, it wasn't aligned with that reflection and that thoughtfulness and that care and attention that I give to this podcast. So I stopped. And I stopped because it mattered, not because it didn't matter. And so this is just a quick update, really, to say that what I learned, and I'm still learning, I'm not a young person anymore, but I'm still learning. And the biggest thing that I've learned with that is that, particularly in my life, this might be true of others, but particularly for me, my life is not neat little chapters, and things don't just continue ad infinitum without change or disruption or alteration. Things don't happen, life doesn't happen on a timetable, and I might have had all the plans in the world, but they were severely disrupted this summer. And so what I realised is that sometimes your energy doesn't always match the expectation that either you or others have of you at a particular point in your life. So as teachers, as students, as human beings, we think about a term or a year or a target or a grade or an outcome, and actually sometimes we forget that life is messier than that. And one thing that I've learned since July is that things come out of nowhere and make it messy. And so one of the things that I'm learning as a result of that is that the best thing and the most faithful thing that I can do is to be true to myself, it's to be true to my values and be true to my well-being. And that's to slow down to find out what I actually need. So pausing is resting, and resting isn't quitting. I am back, and I want to continue to produce this podcast. I want to change the podcast. I want to make it different and challenging and all of the things that I want to make it. And I needed rest and time to listen to myself and figure out what I actually wanted to do. So Faith and Focus podcast still matters to me. I still think that there's real value in a space where thoughtful conversation about belief and ethics and meaning and education is there. And I want to continue to produce that as regularly as I can and as authentically as I can. So the next kind of version, if you like, this is Faith and Focus 2.0, and this is going to be a little bit lighter, it's going to be a little bit slower. I'm going to be more intentional about what I do and when I do it. So the basic material is already on, it's already on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, YouTube. You can go back to that whenever you want. What I would like to do is supplement that this year. So Faith and Focus 2.0, it won't be rigid in terms of schedule or content. And I'm not trying to be everything for everyone. It's still a podcast that will help students with GCSE and A-level. But I'm hoping that we can do that by exploring ideas and going wider than just the rigid specification in terms of context around particular topics. So my message really is that if you are a student and you feel like you are behind, in speech marks, or if you are a teacher and you feel tired, or if you are someone that wants to start again, we are at the point in time where New Year's resolutions are being made or have been made. And it's okay not to stick to that and to change and evolve and listen to what you need from yourself. So you don't need a dramatic reset. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start again for yourself in a way that serves you the best. So you are allowed to begin again quietly. You are allowed to pick things up gently, and you are allowed to do what is enough. You don't have to do everything. So this episode isn't a relaunch, it's just reopening the door. So Faith and Focus is here. It's just more honest and more realistic in terms of pace and energy about what I can realistically achieve and what I want to put out there for you. I want it to be of value. So if you are listening to this, I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm really glad that I'm going to be back. I'm just going to be back a little bit more quietly. So thanks for listening to this update on Faith and Focus podcast. Next time we're going to go into the actual ideas that matter, so things that are around Christianity, Islam, specifics of specifications. But we're going to look at things thoughtfully, carefully, and at a pace that's a little bit more sustainable, particularly for me. So please make sure to subscribe wherever you are listening to your podcasts. Share about it. Follow us on @Faith and Focus Podcast on Instagram and TikTok for more revision tools, for more tips and resources. And until next time, stay curious, keep questioning, and keep learning. Bye!